Hi, Book Crows. I'm Beryl, and I'll be your host today. And I'm joined by my forever co-host, Thyme. Today, we will be discussing The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab.
Schwab?
Schwab. Like, remember the...
Like Les Schwab?
Like Les Schwab. Exactly. V.E., I don't know what E stands for, but I know that V stands for Victoria.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was thinking V for Vendetta.
Ooh, yeah, that's another good one. But yeah, before we get into it, Thyme, what books have you been reading or did you buy recently?
I haven't bought books because I was told no until after the holidays, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
We had shit to do. But it's Yule today, so I did open books, so that counts.
Dude, same.
Well, technically I bought a book, but it's a pre-order, so it doesn't count.
Okay, yeah.
I'll show off two that I got. One is... I actually don't know how to pronounce this properly. I'm so sorry, Sandra Proudman, if I butcher this. Salvakion? It's like a female Zorro.
Huh. Salvakion?
Yeah.
That looks Spanish, not French. Why did I do that?
It is Spanish. Yeah, it is Spanish. Also, this author is an editor of the young adult Latinx science fiction and fantasy anthology, which is super interesting. So, editor turned writer.
I love that.
And it's one of the fancy, pretty Alcrate ones. But the one I'm really excited about is this one. The Wild Reverence one.
Ooh, I've been meaning to pick that up.
It's so pretty.
I read
and it sounds really good.
I read the other two books in the series, because it's not actually a series for this one, it's just set in the same world. Yeah.
It's a dragon.
It's a dragon.
It's got a dragon.
It's a pretty dragon. I kind of want to return to that world, but, the book was just alright for me, the other two books.
Mm-hmm. I have not read the other two, so I'm going in with nothing.
Hell yeah, dude.
But that's fair. We picked most of these up during the Black Friday, so they were like $10, and one of the ones we got was the Anna Dressed in Blood one. So we got the both of them. Yeah. I'm excited for those.
Both of our Black Friday books have arrived.
Yeah. And my Advent arrived, and I opened the first thing today, and it was The Never-Ending Story as a pillow.
Aww.
So yeah, it's a little book pillow.
Aww.
Super cute. Yeah, I keep looking at it and going, I could just open all of them, but I'm going to be a good child. Well, 27-year-old child, and open them one at a time.
One at a time.
As for what I've been reading, I'm about to start the next episode, which is Enigma by Runix. I'm interested to see how this goes, because I did not enjoy Gothicana.
Good luck.
Yeah. But I have been torturing myself reading Fourth Wing.
I'm so sorry.
Honestly, I restarted the audiobook because I got 25% in, dropped it off like a month ago, started re-listening to it on 1.5 speed, and I forgot how straight it is. I forgot how straight pro-military this book is.
Yeah.
And how absolutely tampon Tamlin one of the characters is.
Oh.
Spoiler alert, Dane's an asshole.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
All these women really like their abusive men. Just want to romanticize their abuse.
This one is the childhood best friend who essentially thinks that he needs to protect her constantly.
Ah, the childhood best incel.
Yes, and he's the fake out because, Dane turned gorgeous suddenly. But, who is the dark shadow daddy who has shadow magic over there and is also really tan skin?
Shadow daddies that are also sexualizing people of color. Great.
Yes. Mind you, this is written by a white woman.
Always. You know, the book got picked up for a TV series, I think it is.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
And her big selling point is that she's going to make sure that he's not white, and she just says that over and over again. It's so obnoxious.
I honestly, you know what? It's interesting. That's basically the opposite of Stephanie Meyer. She was upset that they cast a black person as one of the vampires. Because if you didn't know, well, the Mormon religion is very racist.
Yeah, but at least...
And
At least she wrote Native Americans.
Oh god, my Native American lit teacher, she literally had to explain to people that's not how Native Americans work.
No, it is not how Native Americans work. At the very least, the movies for Twilight, other than Taylor Lautner, anybody who played a Native American had to prove that they were at least an eighth Native American?
Honestly, like, pro for having actual Native Americans.
Oh, absolutely. Even if it was written by Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah. Like, pros to that. Yeah, because that's the thing. She essentially decided that, you know, once they became vampires, it purified them. I guess that's their way of converting to Mormonism, is becoming a vampire. I don't know how it works.
I mean,
I'm not a Mormon. I'm also not a vampire, sadly. Wish I was a vampire, but not a stupid vampire, like a cool vampire, like Dracula.
That's fair. What kind of vampire would I want to be? Probably a Camilla vampire, which is pretty close to a Carmilla, which is close to Dracula.
Carmilla.
Only issue is that you have to is the dirt thing.
Yeah, the dirt thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that a lot of people forget about. They also forget about the crucifix thing was not a thing.
Mm-hmm. They also,
like, motherfucker had to be on hollow ground.
You also have to. People forget about the one red flower on Dracula's grave could prevent him from opening his coffin.
Yeah.
Under the night of a full moon.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The vampire lore has changed so much since its inception.
Absolutely. It just...
Same with werewolves.
True.
We went from having werewolves representing, like, psycho murderer serial killers to, hey, he's hot.
Yeah. To give credit where credit is due for Twilight, though, it is in canon in Twilight that they just call themselves werewolves and vampires because it's easier for humans, but they are not actually werewolves and vampires. They're more like fey creatures and shapeshifters.
Yes, and one of the things that I wonder if she based any of that off of the fact of there is a thing called skin changers.
Are you talking about skinwalkers?
No, I thought it was a different thing.
That is a different thing.
Skinwalkers the same thing?
No, it is not. Skinwalkers are evil. Very evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
They are.
Cool.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of that weird little, like, pants tiny thing where it's like a little tool-walkie thingy. For some reason, I was thinking of that when you said skinwalkers.
Oh. No, skinwalkers.
And I don't remember what the fuck that's called anymore.
Huh. But there are, like, shapeshifters. The Native American words don't exist really well in English, let's be honest. So, with skinwalkers specifically, we don't actually know what they do because the Native Americans have been very hush-hush on what's going on with them. And we should respect that.
Respect that. Yeah, Native American traditions are very closed.
Mm-hmm.
They are very, very closed. That is both a detriment and a plus side. Same with, like, Voodoo is very closed practice as well.
Yes.
But that is a lot for outsiders. I had a coworker who was Native American, and one of the things that he talked to me about was, at least in his tribe, it's different for every tribe. So for his tribe, a lot of the practices are dying because they don't even share it amongst the tribe.
Yeah.
It is a specific council that knows it. Whereas some, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm. It's really base by base case, and it's...
Yes. Every tribe is very different. As someone who has Native American blood, but knows none of the practice, I didn't grow up on a reservation. It's one of those, I want to learn, not about, like, all of the practices. Like, I want to learn anything I can because I want to be able to respect it. That's why I don't practice hoodoo or voodoo or any of those, but I learn about it because one of the biggest things is they have been demonized so heavily. Mm-hmm. And Native American lore, you know, people come up with their own things from the bits and pieces that you are allowed to learn, but also they get appropriated really easily.
Yeah.
Because it is a minority group. And it's one of those things where you should educate where you can and always make sure to listen to the people who are in that group.
Yes.
Is another big thing. if you have some random ass white person who's like, I am distantly related to a Cherokee princess, go smack them, please.
And continuing that, if you write a deeply Native American story and are not Native American, please be prepared to do your research. And I'm gonna shout out a specific French cartoon of a magical superhero variety with my interaction with the creator on Twitter. Don't just pick a random Native group that's in America and make that your Native American character because that Native group is in Colorado and you decided that that's where the Native American who is living in New York is going to be from, is that specific.
Honestly, that just reminds me of the fact that, so, bit of a history thing, bit of a tangent. I'm a big history nerd, but also, like, I took Native American literature classes, so this is one of my things. For people who don't know, the way that it works federally, and I say federally because, again, tribes are slightly different. Like, my Native American literature teacher, she would consider me Native even though I don't consider myself Native, because I can literally prove and pull up the documents that my great-grandma was born on the reservation. I can prove that, and it's also on both sides of my dad's family. My grandma and my grandpa are both Native Cherokee. Hilarious. Apparently, no, my grandpa did not know he was Cherokee. He just thought he was from a random tribe in Oklahoma. No, bitch. Your mom was born on the reservation. How do you not know? For anyone who does not know, the way it works federally is you have to be 1/4 Native in order to be considered Native with the government and all that fun jazz. Now, there's a reason for that. They were hoping that they would essentially be, and I'm putting this very harshly, because the government should fuck off about this. They were essentially hoping Native people would be bred out.
Yes.
That's also why they put Native children in schools.
It's also why there was a lot of graping of Native women.
Yes.
Around the time that law came into place.
Yes. And so another thing is it also has made it really hard for Native Americans to get married because, they want their children to be considered Native, which honestly, fair. That is 100% valid. And so one of the other things is, and I believe this is still in law today, is there's the opposite for people who are African American. You only need to be 1/64th to be considered African American, and that is because they wanted it easier for people to be considered slaves.
It's almost as though the U.S. has this horrible history that white people have created.
Yeah.
Man, this has nothing to do with the book we're reviewing today. We got really sidetracked. That being said, I do want to say, since we're on close to the Native American topic, I was at a film festival last weekend. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday before. And at the film festival, I got to watch a beautiful film that was, made by a woman who is half Native American, half Indian. Or as she said, half Casino Indian, half 7-Eleven Indian. That's me quoting her, not me actually saying it. And it was just...
That is a really interesting way of saying that.
It's not the first time I've heard it, sadly.
Where does the 7-Eleven come from?
So, have you seen The Simpsons?
No.
Okay, about 20, 30 years ago, there was a stereotype that 7-Eleven hired immigrants from India.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. But the entire film was about how she is a mixed person, both a native to this land and a child of an immigrant. And the allegory was being done through bread, and I thought it was really pretty and cute.
Oh, that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is really interesting. Anyway, what the hell are we talking about tonight?
Yeah! But yeah, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I want to preface this. The reason I picked up this book was because I saw the blurb about a woman. Well, we'll find out. But I saw the blurb about what this woman's life is like. And I saw reviews, and both the blurb and the reviews kind of made me go, okay, I'll pick up this book. I kind of want to read this book. I want to say that both the good and the bad reviews are wrong. Do I like this book? Not particularly. We'll get exactly to what my rating is by the end. We'll see if I've solidified my rating or not by the end. But I did not like this book, and both the good and the bad reviews are wrong.
I am curious how that is the case.
Yes. Now, this book is split into 7 uneven parts. So instead of me going through the entire story in a giant thing,
Okay.
we're going to go through each part, and then we can talk about what was going on in the previous part after each part.
Okay.
We might have more, we might have less, and then once we're done with the 7th part, we will talk about the story as a whole.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with part 1, and first thing that I have to get out of the way is that this story is non-linear. Completely non...
Joy.
Yes. So I'm going to try my best to retell it in a straightforward-ish way. That is why I am sticking with the 7 parts. If that makes it make more sense now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. That just reminds me of a book series that I have. It is the same way. You have to read the books out of order of print.
Yeah.
And it's annoying.
Well, I'm going to try my best to also stand true to the method of nonlinear storytelling within this book. And I'm sorry. The nonlinear storytelling was not the frustrating part about this book. Somebody told me that the book was frustrating to read. I think that was you. Was that you? That you heard
I
it?
never read this book.
No.
I have no idea what the fuck this is.
Who was I telling that I was going to be reading this book recently to? And their response was, "Oh, I heard that book is frustrating to read." Because they were right.
But for different reasons?
They didn't tell me what their reasons were, but they were right.
Oh, okay.
To keep with the method of nonlinear storytelling and the absolute jumble mess that it is, we're going to start with we are first introduced to the world of Earth by a young girl running her through a forest away from her arranged marriage in 1714 France. This girl is Addie LaRue, Addie for short. Remember,
Okay.
It's the invisible life of Addie LaRue. So already, we're now, immediately, before getting any payoff on her running away from her wedding, going to bounce to Addie waking up in someone else's bed on her birthday in 2014 New York.
Okay. I'm scared.
So, I have it written here. First part of the story bounces back and forth between Addie dealing with people not remembering her whatsoever in 2014 New York, and then also her growing up in pre-revolution France.
Okay.
Okay. So, to give an idea of what is happening to her in New York, whenever she closes a door or a person falls asleep, they forget everything about her. She leaves 0 trace. She can't say her name. People don't remember her. She can't hold on to items for very long. Yeah.
She's a ghost.
Basically, that's why her life is invisible.
Hey, you could do so much shit
True.
that way, though.
She, one of the first chapters shows her stealing stuff to get new clothes because her clothes slowly deteriorate, but she doesn't. She stays perfectly the same weight no matter what. She can't die from sickness. She can't die from the cold. She just stays the way that she is. She can't cut her hair, though the hair cutting thing comes in later in the story, but you're getting the idea. She can't leave a single trace. We'll get more into exactly how that goes in part 2, because there's some interesting things that happen in part 2 on that end. But yeah, the first bit is her celebrating her birthday and in New York doing the things of somebody who cannot be remembered whatsoever, while also showing what her life was before she got into this knuffle where nobody can remember her whatsoever. But I will also say, she is influencing, currently in New York, she has been influencing an artist that she gets to reintroduce herself to every night into writing a song, as she has been influencing artists for centuries. So, important thing. She leaves no trace by herself, but she can leave ideas.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. We're going to jump back and forth between her and France and modern day. And so in France, we see a girl who wants to travel the world and grow into a woman. She starts out as a girl who wants to travel the world, and then she grows into a woman who wants to be the village spinster. Yeah.
Fair.
She befriends the village's current old lady spinster who teaches her about the old gods, which is basically any god that isn't Christian. Not pagan coded in the sense, the old spinster doesn't know the name of the gods, and she just basically teaches Addie how to pray to the old gods And sometimes her prayers are answered, sometimes they aren't, but they aren't answered so strictly. The one thing that the old spinster tells her is to never pray to the gods that only show up after dark.
I mean, that's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyone who knows anything about, like, Appalachia, for example.
Yeah, never whistle after dark, guys. No.
That's actually an anthology book title, and I really want to get it.
Same. Now, unfortunately, her plans to be a spinster are destroyed when a middle-aged man loses his wife to an illness, and he is now looking for a new, younger one to take care of his kids and possibly give him more kids.
Run away.
Yeah. Addie, at this point, is 23 years old, which, like, reminder that this is, like, 1700 France, and in 1700 France, 23 is normally considered too old to marry, but because this guy was older, she was considered a better age for him than anybody younger in her village. So her parents force her to marry him.
Those bitches.
I know. She prays and prays to every god under the sun to not marry him, but on...
She's gonna pray to the nighttime gods.
Hold up. But
sorry.
on the day of her wedding, she runs out of options. She tricks her family into losing sight of her and then runs into the woods, praying to anybody who will listen. Unfortunately, as she's running into the woods, her prayers and her running takes her into the night. And just as the sun sets, she continues her prayers, not realizing the sun has set. And
yeah, you're in the middle of the goddamn forest.
Mm-hmm. And the god of darkness appears. Now, he doesn't have a name at first. We will get to what his name is around the time that he finally has a name. During this time period of her, like, wanting to be a spinster, she's, like, really into drawing, and she draws her ideal man, and that's the form the god of darkness takes once, like, she, sees the mist around her that's, like, dark and shit. Yeah, so
That reminds me of a theory someone told me that, mind you, this person was Christian, so the way they think about it is slightly different than, like, I would think about it. But they had a thought process that demons take the form of loved ones and things like that as ghosts, so as a way to influence you, because then it's someone that you're willing to trust.
I've heard that one
It kind of
before.
reminds me of that.
Yeah. But yeah, my brain is, like, jumping back and forth.
You're like, where the fuck was I?
So he takes the form of her ideal man that she's been drawing in secret for years, and he makes a deal with her, you know, because she's desperate right now for any deal, and she decides to put behind her pride and all the warnings of her teacher and agrees to a deal. The deal is that she gets total freedom for as long as she wants until she willingly gives him her soul, because he deals in souls.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The deal is sealed with an unwanted kiss. He just kind of pulls her in and kisses her and is like, the deal is sealed. And she, like, passes out. And that's how we end part 1 of the France storyline. The flashbacks of storyline of part 1. Now, part 1 actually ends in New York with ending the storyline of her getting caught stealing from a bookstore by a guy named Henry. She steals all the time. She knows people are going to forget it. She just needs to be able to stay away from handcuffs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she gets caught stealing the bookstore as she just leaves holding a book by a guy named Henry. Keep this in mind. But that's the end of part 1. Let's talk about part 1. First of all, our God character being absolutely a Shadow Daddy-like character right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that does not end.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean... Is it bad that all I can think of is that one... I think it's from, like, Mortal Kombat or something, where the guy's like, your soul!
Probably. I mean, this guy's definitely a little, like, soul crazy.
So, I'm guessing we don't know what he is yet. We just know he's, like, some dark dude.
It doesn't go too deep into it. He is a god of darkness. He goes where the darkness goes. And he deals in souls, and... he knows of the other gods and talks about the other gods, but he does not like war. He very much openly talks about how he hates war. He deals in artists and people who want happiness.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And he's
interesting.
Very powerful.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I put it in my review, but he owns buildings level of powerful. I want to point out, you notice how all of what was happening, the actual meat of the story, is going on in France right now because it's a background? Like the
Yes.
backflash, flashbacks. Wow. There is, in part one, there is more actually happening in New York in the sense of page count than there's page count of things happening in the flashbacks.
Oh.
That's part of what was obnoxious to read.
It's all like filler, and you're like, just stay in France, please.
I just want the storyline to be linear. But I understand why it's not linear. You like towards the end I started going, okay, that's why it's not linear because I can see what it's doing now. But I don't think the non-linear nature was perfectly well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, something I did not write in this first part one is that throughout the entire book, she keeps referencing about something happening in New Orleans with a fire, and that she has a jacket that she saved from the fire that she can't stand losing, even though she's glad that the fire happened and that she's gone, like, doesn't have to deal with him anymore. There's another trinket that she has. We'll get to what that is, but honestly, it's not important to the story until the end what that trinket is, even though it was.
How did she get to New York?
Yeah, she's 323 years old. She can get around.
Okay, so she's able to do like transportation. It's not like a. So she's been on Earth for like 320 years. It's not a time traveling randomly to New York thing.
No, she has been living on Earth for hundreds of years.
Okay.
Are we ready for part two?
Yes.
Okay. So part two starts with Addie waking up in the woods right after, like the next morning after she has that kiss happen where the seal is sealed. She returns to her village and comes to find out the initial boundaries of the curse, as stated in part one, where nobody remembers her. So we're now finally getting like her internal, like the internal beginning years of the curse. Now we're jumping back and forth between the first few years of her adapting and New York still. Like, I think there's only one part that doesn't do jumping back and forth between Adeline in the past and New York, and we'll get to that. Personally, I prefer that. We'll get into there later. We now establish a pattern in the France storyline. So, initially, she has to get used to her curse, and now once she goes through the first few months with her curse, trying to get used to it, we are now establishing a pattern where every year on the anniversary of the deal, the god of darkness visits her and taunts her. And is like, you should just give me your soul now. Like, life is not easy for you. You need to be remembered to be living. And truthfully, he's flirting with her as much as he is taunting her. Because again, shadow daddy stuff is not really working out too well for him in the first while. But, yeah.
Why is he flirting?
Because he's enchanted by her, I guess. It's the kind of flirting that people do when they don't want to admit they're attracted to somebody.
Ah.
Yeah. But what's going on in 2014 New York, you might be asking yourself.
I was not.
Great. Remember that Henry guy that I mentioned at the end of part one that caught her stealing? We're gonna follow him.
Does he somehow remember her?
We're gonna follow him for a bit.
Okay.
He lives his life as a well-loved individual, like the few chapters we follow him around, but there's also some subtle darkness around him that he's not quite happy with how much love he's getting. And he's trying not to think about the subtle darkness, but you can tell that he's uncomfortable with the love he gets.
Why?
We'll get into that. Again.
Is he secretly the dude?
He does look a lot like him. He does.
Okay.
But he's not
not him.
He's not the dude. No.
Oh, okay.
Addie then goes back to the bookstore and tries playing her usual lies. She tries to return the book that she stole and ask for another one in return, saying like, oh, my friend bought me this, but like, I can't really read Greek. And then Henry was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You just tried to steal this yesterday. So yes, he does remember her.
I knew it.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't show him remembering her in the first few chapters. It's mostly showing off, because he ends his first few chapters with him getting sex at the end.
Wait, is this like a dual perspective book then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty third person, mostly omniscient, but not perfectly. It's interesting perspective, regardless. But
Okay.
yes, dual perspective. Was not expecting it to be dual perspective, by the way.
Not with the title. You think it would just be her.
Yeah, you'd think. You'll find out why at the end.
Oh, Lord.
Uh-huh.
Motherfucker's also immortal, I guess.
No, he's not.
Oh.
Addie's...
Okay,
well,
he's just special.
he's so special. So very, very special. Addie convinces him to go on a date with her, though. She's like, oh my god, this guy remembers me. She's not telling him why she's, like, so surprised he remembers her, but, like, she manages to convince him to go on a date with her. And they have a blast. They have a great date. Now, the France storyline, we're wrapping up part 2 here in a second. The France storyline ends with the Shadow God not showing up to their 1 year anniversary for the first time in, like, 5 years. And the New York storyline ends with Henry leaving the date behind and being unable to get Addie out of his head.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, like, I really wish that we had her struggling with her new life and to, like, adapting to the curse in the first part, with her walking through New York and just being willing to steal, being willing to sleep with people for things. Like, in this part, in part 2 here, with her adapting the curse, she goes through it. She has to learn to steal. She has to learn to lie. She's not comfortable lying yet. But we see her comfortable lying in the first part. We see her comfortable stealing in the first part. We see her comfortable sleeping with people. She turns to prostitution for a hot second in the second part when she's getting, like, used to her thing. Like, she goes through...
It would have been the duality of it.
Mm-hmm.
A bit more.
I would have liked it better. Now, something to note is that as she's going on her date with Henry, is that she thinks of the Shadow Daddy, who has a name by this point. I think it's part 2 that he gets his name. He asks her what she always wanted to name her drawing, and she eventually gives in and tells him Luce, Luc. Short.
What a weird name.
Is short for either Lucian or Lucifer.
Just a little on the nose, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, she always imagined the guy being Luce for Lucian, but she was looking at him and was like, but he's kind of like a Lucifer. Very on the nose.
Ugh.
I know. Do you have anything you want to say before I finish my last note on part 2?
Only that I feel like they could have come up with a way better name.
Yeah.
Like, that's so disappointing. Like, this is also giving me really strong good versus evil Christian vibes with the gods thing and being like, oh yeah, he looks like a Lucifer. But I also get, pre-revolutionary France.
She's not Christian herself. The only times that she prays to the Christian God is to make her parents happy or to try and get out of the marriage. Because she was praying to everything to get out of the marriage. But she's very much I don't really believe in the Christian God.
Okay, then why go with Lucifer then?
Because it's pre-revolution France, and just because it's kind of like how we say oh my god, even though, like, atheists say oh my god even though they don't believe in God. Like, it's just a cultural thing at that point.
Colloquial.
Yeah,
that's valid.
Yeah. Notably, when she's on her date with Henry, she thinks about how this is a spot that Luce would like. She does it a few more times too.
Okay, so she's like, okay, this guy reminds me of Luce.
Mm-hmm.
Luce would like this spot. Clearly, liking the one person who can remember her.
Yeah.
Both sides of that spectrum.
Yeah.
So then it's going to come down to, who she choosing. But at the same time, one's mortal and one is not.
And she's not mortal either.
Yes.
Are you ready for part 3?
Yes.
Bring
it on.
All right, bring it on. Part 3 is, we're going to start... It's short, first of all. It's the second shortest, I believe, in the entire book. My note here says it's short and it ends at the exact middle of the book, which is correct. It does.
Okay.
Which tells you the ending is going to be something big, doesn't it? Because the exact middle is always where something important happens.
Yes.
So, Addie and Henry continue going on dates. She's trying to find a way to hide her situation from him while enjoying his memory and his company. And she's also trying to find out as much information on him as possible, just because, like, she can actually connect with this man for the first time in her 300 years of doing this. Now, in the France storyline, Addie has her first heartbreak as in the course of the night she becomes in the course of a night she becomes attached to a man who saw through her cross-dressing, because to be truly free is to be able to go into women are not as free as men.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a man catches her, she gets attached to him over the course of a night, and they sleep together, and the next morning he wakes up, thinks she's a prostitute, and pays her to go away because he can't remember her. And she's heartbroken because she grew way more, like, this is the first time she's had sex without selling her body, and she was you see the problem.
Yes.
The next year she runs into Luce, who messes up her big night, and this is when he teaches her that ideas are stronger than memories and they will stay around even after she is forgotten.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. The next year after that, she decides to go back to her hometown so that she can be nostalgic and messed up inside, because it's been 50 years. And it's ending with her getting the coach out of town to go to her hometown. Yeah. Now we're going to jump back to New York for the end of part 3, where it's the third time that Henry's friends can't seem to remember Addie, even though they've definitely met her before. And Henry's like, what the fuck, you guys have definitely met her before. So she finally sits down and has a talk to him about her curse. She's all ready for him to call her crazy, but the storyline ends with Henry believing her, because he also made a deal with Luce.
I figured it was some sort of, he knew about Luce and stuff. Like, he had some sort of curse, and that's why he could, like, remember her.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, imagine you're sitting someone down having a conversation about your curse or whatever, and they're just like, yeah, it's Joe.
Well, she was hyping up in her head being called crazy and for him to hate her, only for him to go like, I also have a deal.
So, what big night did Luce ruin?
Oh, Luce ruined her, so she was getting in with the nobility crowd, and there was a big party she wanted to go to, and he ruined her being able to be at the party.
Was Marie Antoinette there?
Not quite that time period yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did he ruin it?
Because he wanted to spend time with her.
That's both cute, but also annoying. Like, why couldn't you just go to the party with her?
Right? To be fair, she does try to avoid him when he, like, the first year he did not show up, she actually prepared herself for him. So he's only showing up when she's not prepared for him at the very beginning. As his literal words are, is why would I show up if I feel that your heart has not faltered?
Oh, that's annoying.
Mm-hmm. But he starts showing up more after that. And also less.
It's I don't have feelings for you, but then yes I do, I want to be around you. But then it's no, I can't be around that person.
Yeah. It's the whole God refusing to acknowledge that they're in love with a human thing.
I mean, fair.
Mm-hmm. And yes, the exact middle of the book is when Henry admits that he has a deal with Luce. How does it feel? How does the story feel? Does it feel like anything's been really moving along?
No.
Yeah, a reminder that all of this going back to like the flashbacks and everything are still less than what is on page with New York.
The flashbacks are the more interesting part. Like, I feel like I would have, like, you've seen X-Men Wolverine, right?
No, actually.
Dang it. Well, in X-Men Wolverine, the one that most people hate and I actually enjoy, mostly because I've never read the comics. So there you go.
Fair.
But there's a montage of him living through the years and fighting all these different wars and shit like that. And I honestly think that's the more interesting part of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what I would want from this, is her having to deal with not being remembered anymore, starting to get used to it, and then continuing the life after that. Not flipping back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I'm feeling about it. But the cool thing that we get to see over this is that we get to see her fall in love with Henry and her fall in love with Luce at the same time, with one being a slow burn and one being a quick burn.
So, do we find out what Henry's thing is here, or is it just that's the end, like the dun 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 cut to commercial?
Part 4 will go into his deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so part 3 is the da da da.
Yeah, part 3 has the midpoint twist. That wasn't really a twist because we all kind of saw it, but like big emotional culmination there.
Yeah, I mean, why else would he be a point of view character?
Yes, yes. Which I believe part 4 is almost entirely his point of view.
That's annoying. Wait, do we also get him like the flashbacks with him then?
We get yes, part 4 is almost entirely flashbacks from his point of view, with a few flashbacks of him continuing stuff. No, actually, does it have any flashbacks of him continuing stuff with Addie? I know that there'll be a point where there's just occasional flashbacks of him and Addie doing cute things together while the story goes on. But yeah, if we want to, we can just get straight into part 4.
Yeah, lay it on me.
Okay.
What is Henry's deal?
Henry's deal.
And why is his name Henry?
His name is Henry Strauss.
What a stupid ass name.
He's Jewish.
Oh. I'm sorry if you're Jewish, and I insulted you by saying that.
Honestly, I think...
No hate against Jewish people, I just think it's a weird name.
Honestly, I think it's a giant Dracula reference, being named Henry Strauss.
Is that a Dracula reference?
There's a major character named Henry in Dracula, I believe. And then, I guess Vlad, like Strauss means vampire, kind of.
It says that it likely refers to a connection between Bram Stoker's Dracula and the famous Victorian actor Henry Irving.
Interesting.
Stoker worked for Irving. And Irving's magnetism and theatricality were widely thought to be foundational elements for the character of Dracula.
Interesting.
How do you spell Strauss?
Strauss.
Hilarious. It means ostrich in German.
Right.
Or bouquet.
Love that.
Strauss is the North German form of the word Strauss, which is modern German. Okay, I might have to look up Jewish. I'm also finding the word ostrich.
Interesting.
I'm finding that a lot.
He is Henry Ostrich.
German Yiddish root. Henry Ostrich. Henry Ostrich.
Henry Ostrich.
Or Henry Bouquet. In Frankfurt's Judengasse, Jewish families lived in houses with symbolic names, e.g. House of Ostrich, leading to surnames like Strauss, when were required by Napoleon. Also adopted as a surname, sometimes translated to bouquet. Oh, interesting. Levi Strauss, founder of Levi Strauss & Co., born into a Jewish family in Bavaria.
Could have sworn Strauss had something to do with vampires. Comment below what I am missing and why I might think that Strauss has something to do with vampires.
There is a character in Vampire the Masquerade named Maximilian Strauss.
That might be it. That sounds right. I do like my White Wolf games.
Cool.
Yeah?
I now know that Strauss means ostrich.
Yes.
I learn something new every day.
Something every day. Now you guys, the listeners, know that Strauss means ostrich. Alright. But Henry,
Mr. Ostrich.
Mr. Ostrich himself, was a middle child of a well-off family that for some reason couldn't live up to his parents' expectations or stand on equal ground to his siblings. He was...
Mood.
Yeah. Except we're both youngest children.
We are. My husband's a middle child, though.
That's fair.
Yeah, he's second oldest.
Damn, that's a lot of siblings. He might as well just be the oldest.
Considering that his brother was a very interesting human being, and Dalton ended up basically acting like the oldest child, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the more rebellious one.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Anyway, back to Mr. Ostrich.
Mr. Ostrich. Are we ever going to call him Henry again? Is he forever Mr. Ostrich?
No.
Okay.
He is forever Mr. Ostrich.
Okay. So Mr. Ostrich is neither super artsy like his sister or smart like his doctor brother.
Okay.
And he's a people pleaser. True and true.
He's just a man.
He's just a man, as Odysseus says before he throws the baby off the building. Why do we keep coming back to babies? We'll find out.
That's me catching a comb bee. Oh, it's a man.
So, he's suffered through multiple heartbreaks in his life, including some of his best friends that he's dated and is still friends with. And finally, his girlfriend of 3 years has broken up with him as he's proposing to her.
Oh, that's harsh.
Her reasoning is that he's not enough for her.
Oh, what a bitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And his friends are disgusted by that comment because of how much he poured into her. They're like, you were forgetting
what a
us.
Bitch.
Yeah. They're like, you've been forgetting us for that bitch. What the fuck?
Like, he thinks they're on the same, like, you think you're on the same page. You're like, oh, yes, this is the woman I'm going to marry. We love each other so much. And she's like, actually, fuck you.
Yeah, yeah. So
I don't know. I would have bitch slapped her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am not for abuse, but I would have bitch slapped her. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. And I honestly, like, holy shit, that bitch. She's gonna come back here in a second, though. Because his friends take him drinking, and in his very low state, where he already hates his life, he already feels like he's not enough, he's been told that he's not enough in this breakup after a 3-year-long relationship. By the way, man is 28 at the beginning of the story. His birthday happens in the middle. We're gonna skip over his birthday, but he's 28.
What year is it?
2014?
Okay, so it's still 2014.
It's 2013 right now when we're doing the whole, like, the breakup that he's going through. So it's September of 2013. And the story right now in 2014 is in March.
Okay, so he is a modern man.
He is a modern man.
Got it.
So he's about ready to jump off this roof, and Luce stops him, calling him perfect, with a little caress of the face. By the way, all the characters are bisexual. Every character, not every character is bisexual. All of our main characters are bisexual. Does this end in a three-way?
No. Damn it!
I know.
Damn it, you got my hopes up of a polyamorous relationship with a demon.
I would love to read some polyamorous relationships in media. Ones that don't always have such explicit sex, because I've read them with very explicit sex before, but I would like some soft ones that are not so sexy.
It's just me and you and our demon shadow daddy.
Okay, now we just
sounds like a good time.
Okay, we need to co-author this.
Yes.
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 So obviously Luce offers him a deal. And the deal is that everyone finds what they want from him at first. Like, I say at first. At first is the next sentence that I wrote. Everybody finds what they want from him.
Okay.
So whether that is if they're looking for a romantic relationship, if they're looking for a friendship, if they're looking for whatever they're looking for, they will find in him. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd like that.
Yeah. See, for Addie, all she's looking for is for somebody to remember her. So it works out really well for her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And naturally, the fact that someone remembers her is going to be a really big reason to end up in a romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I don't know if I would like that, especially as someone who has had a lot of times where I feel like the most recent situation is a really good example. Like, I feel like they were wanting to stick around me because they wanted something from me.
Yeah.
And that is not a feeling you want to have.
It's not great.
Especially for someone who's supposed to be your friend,
Mm-hmm.
let alone. Like, the last person that I felt like was like that was the guy we went to college with.
Oh.
The blonde one.
Oh.
That one.
I remember that. Fuck that guy.
But that was completely different. Also, the hard part is I could not exactly read what he wanted. Is the worst part.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the biggest attraction that he had when it came to me was my lack of experience.
Absolutely.
Just as a fair warning for viewers, I say viewers like they're going to see us. Fair warning to listeners, as someone who is this type of person. If you're attracted to someone because they frustrate the shit out of you, run away.
Yeah.
Run the fuck away.
Yeah.
You want to be with the most fluffy cinnamon roll human ever, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. But with Mr. Ostrich Man,
yes,
we're going to go through the next 3 months of his life in various time skips, but it's time skips of a flashback. We're not getting...
No, that bitch comes back because she finds something she wants in him now. No.
Yes, but we're going to get there.
No.
At first, he is happy with his deal. His parents and siblings see him and give him the attention he craves. He's being hit on when he goes out. Cute girls hit on him. They give him their number. He goes on dates. He gets a threesome at one point. And
get it?
Yeah. He
says the asexual.
We can be happy for people getting it. So he starts dating one of the people that he got their numbers from, and his friends are kind of uncomfortable with how devoted that person is to him. Because they're like, something's weird there. He finally starts getting the feeling something is wrong after two people walk up to him. First of all, the ex, who does try to rekindle things, and he's like, no, go away. Second of all, the dean of the school that he went to, I think he is like heavily referenced he went to Columbia, but the dean of the school offers him a job, even though the dean refused his thesis a while back and was very rude back then. And through these interactions, he can see when the curse forces somebody to say something they don't actually believe, and that is a glassy look gets into their eyes. Mm-hmm. So he can start...
That is a slippery slope. That can lead to a lot of non-consensual things.
Yeah. And then he realizes the girl he's been seeing doesn't actually love him, because when she finally tells him that she loves him, and he can see the glassy look in her eyes when she says that. He didn't ask for that. She just tells him that out of the blue one day with the glassy look in her eyes. So he breaks it off with her. That's not comfortable. He breaks it off with her, and then like later that week, one of his best friends, the one that's his ex, kisses him and tries to get back with him. But there's the glassy look again. And then we get a few more examples of glassy looks and Henry noticing it before Henry grows tired of the constant attention and the lack of connection.
Can this be about him?
Right?
He's a lot more interesting.
Actually, he becomes very annoying by the end.
Oh, god damn it.
I know. He is more interesting Honestly, though, Addie was interesting before. Yeah. In part 1, she was very interesting. And now we're at Henry, and he's very interesting.
I feel like there's a lot of really interesting concepts with poor execution.
Yeah, I agree.
Like with a better writer, or like a better editor who could have given more suggestions on how to make it better.
Yeah.
It could have been good.
There's a foreword in here that I did not read about the author talking about how she was writing this when she was still poor, and this is actually one of the first books she wrote but didn't get picked up. I did not read it, though. But that is the end of part 4.
Fair.
Yeah. Now,
I also think it's interesting that their curses his curse will out-affect her, you know what I mean? Like, it counteracts it because she wants someone to remember her. That is really interesting.
Yeah. So they cancel each other out. Notably, during this entire thing, there is a couple intercuts of 2014, Addie and Ostrich Man going on cute dates.
Okay.
Yeah, but like...
And they're cute?
They're cute.
Or...
They're fluffy.
Okay.
They're sweet. They've already had sex at this point. They had sex before Addie told him the truth and before he told her the truth. But he can recognize the glossy look in people's eyes. And he, like...
That's fair.
If you go back to those chapters, you can see that he makes sure to look her in the eyes while she's giving him answers and stuff like that. Like...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In a worse person...
Yeah, he's a good person. He annoys the shit out of me at the end, but he's a good person.
No.
Ish.
I don't want to know what happens.
You'll find out in part 7. Is there any other comments on part 4 before we move on to part 5?
Honestly, I feel like that... Mind you, I do not watch the show. because I've heard some of the stuff, and it's one of those ones where it would probably traumatize me a little too much.
Okay.
I feel like that would be a very good character to have in The Boys.
Yeah.
You know, because it's all about superheroes that are basically villains. And, like, that's definitely one where that could be a villain person, for sure. Like, there's good you can do with that, but there's also a lot of fucked up shit you can do with that.
There's so much. Both of them are kind of people who can be villains. Though Addie at times is a villain. Great.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think she has a choice but to steal, though.
to be fair, if I was in her position, I would be doing some Robin Hood shit. Like, mind you, this is my thought process on stealing. If you're stealing from the poor, or you're stealing from small businesses, you're an asshole. But if you're stealing from, like, a corporation, that's not gonna affect their shit. That's like stealing from Donald Trump. Mind you, motherfucker owes a fuck ton of money to people. But that's like stealing from, like, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Or the guy who owns Amazon. They're not feeling that.
They are not. No.
If you're Robin Hooding it up, good on.
Yeah. She is not.
That is my thought.
She's really not.
That's what I would be doing. God damn it.
Yeah. Alright, let's get on to part 5.
Imagine the amount of books she could have read at this point.
Oh,
like,
she's
320 years old.
She's learned multiple languages. She knows 7 languages at this point.
Like, I could read all the books.
Yeah.
I would be having the time of my life. Motherfucker wouldn't be visiting me because I'd be over here with, like, Belle in my giant-ass castle, reading all the books. I'd be living at the library.
She can't really... Well, she could live at a library, but she can't really buy a house.
No, but you could haunt a house.
True.
You know, be that creepy person in the walls.
She has been haunting houses. She haunted houses in France, and she used her reading skills to read books in the houses she haunted before the Revolutionary War happened.
See, that's what I would be doing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But she has to be careful not to get caught, is the one thing.
How corporal is she? Because you said she can't really, like, she's a whole ass human being, but you said something about, like, she can't touch something for certain periods of time.
She can't keep them for certain periods of time. So, like,
okay,
she can
keep it.
She can try to hold on to items that she feels strongly about. Like, at the beginning, she tries to keep this wooden carving of a bird her dad made, but no matter what she does, everything gets lost eventually.
Okay.
With one exception, and that is the wooden ring her dad made her, but that is going to come back at the end.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, what she does now is she gives it all to Henry.
Henry tells her
and
to
then
just...
he keeps it.
Yeah, that's what Henry tells her to do in part 5.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so I have one other question.
Yeah.
So if, like, she has anything on, like, paper, like, if she gives someone, like, a false name or whatever on paper, like, buys some land, gives a false name, technically owns it, does that get forgotten?
I'm sure she tried, because she tried to get a hotel room for a while, and every time she would wake up in the morning and they thought that she was a homeless person sleeping for free, even though she absolutely paid for it. So I'm sure she tried. She does...
And does she, like, disappear on video cameras?
She can't appear on video cameras. They try to take Polaroids of her, and the Polaroids just give her a blurry face, or there's always something outside. Because she also got involved in, like, a celebrity scandal where a gay celebrity was trying to hide his sexuality by going on a date with her, and when she knows he is filming outside of the state, outside of New York City, she goes to his place and crashes at his place. Because she knows his login information. She can remember everything in perfect detail, by the way. Yeah.
See, I'm just thinking of the logic. That's my thing.
Yeah. There is remember how I said the New Orleans thing earlier?
Yes.
She does make a mention that she had a place that she could stay at for a few years in New Orleans that wasn't really hers, but was hers at the same time. And we'll get to that.
Okay.
Because eventually we're going to get the reveal of what happened in New Orleans. Remember, we're constantly, there's constant references to this New Orleans bullshit. And the leather jacket that she can't seem to let go of that she got while she was in New Orleans. Part 5 starts in France where we left off in part 3, because there were no cuts to France in part 4. It was all Mr. Ostrich Man's time. Addie comes to terms with the deaths of the people that she knew because it's been 50 years and she's visiting her
Yeah.
hometown. And then she continues to go back to her hometown occasionally, but we're going to be like, Luce visits her and starts, his flirting gets more flirtatious and less taunting as time goes on, and we're seeing that more so now. We are still intercutting with Henry and Addie growing together through dates and things, just as we're seeing her grow together with Luce in the flashbacks. Fun fact, she actually fights with Henry a few times. Mr. Ostrich Man doesn't really like her penchant for stealing, and she's like, dude, I can't. I have to steal. If you're not with me, I have to steal and do these things. It's not like I get a choice. And he has trouble wrapping his head around that. But they make up and stuff. So she ends up in Paris during the French Revolution, and Luce gets her out of it by teleporting her to Italy. Yeah. He can teleport her.
Can she die?
She can't die. She cannot. She doesn't try to get herself stabbed, but we do know that every time she gets a cut, it heals very quickly. Her hair grows back instantaneously. She can't die of starvation or cold, so we can imply that she just cannot die. She's immortal. She would probably regrow her head if she got it cut off.
Interesting.
Yeah, or her body. I think her body would regrow in that situation. Also, something I completely glossed over, when she was getting readjusted to life as an invisible person in part 2, she absolutely stabs a guy to get away from him, and the book very clearly says that as soon as she's out of reach, the knife is gone and his wound is healed and his clothes are back to where they were. So the way that the leave no mark thing is quite literal.
Huh.
Yeah.
I feel like that would work for stealing then, too.
Yeah. I mean, they don't, when they do inventory, they'll see that the items are missing, but they can't remember who would possibly do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she gets away with stealing pretty easily, but
well, I feel like if a stab wound would go away, an item she stole should technically reappear.
I feel like that too, but it doesn't, apparently. Hell, she walks through the woods, and she literally, like, walks through the fields and tramples on flowers, only for as soon as she lifts her foot and walks away, the flowers to go back to where they were. So you think it would work that way.
Well, maybe it's because, like, one is damage and one is just an object
Maybe.
being grabbed. Like, it's not damaged or anything.
Maybe that's logic. I don't know. So she ends up, Luce leaves her in Italy. He's just like, don't go back to France until the revolution is done. War sucks. So she starts traveling around a little bit. She always ends up going back to France, though, but after the war is over, just to visit her hometown. She has some success influencing artists across Europe as using, like, just to get her, to trying to get them to use her as a muse. She has mild success doing that.
She's the Mona Lisa.
No, actually, she's a different one. It's interesting because...
Well, the Mona Lisa has a face.
True. Well, you can paint her face. You just can't take pictures of her.
Okay.
That is established. Funny enough, Henry's best friend, tries to talk to him about her thesis about this girl who she sees in every single one of these art pieces with this unique freckle pattern, because Addie LaRue has 7 unique freckles across her face. Yeah, so Addie...
Vampires.
Yeah. So, like, there's, like, his best friend's thesis for a second before getting rejected for the thesis was trying to prove that there's a mysterious woman who influences artists, and it was Addie the entire time.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we also find out that Luce can visit her whenever he wants. He's just been choosing to only visit on their anniversary every year. But he does end up visiting her outside of that. And he starts taking her on dates, showing her what his job looks like and the horrifying little details of what happens when deals are up.
Ooh.
Sometimes he whisks her away to new places, and sometimes he brings her back after he whisks her away, and sometimes he doesn't. I literally have it written here. There is a lot happening, and nothing is moving the story forward. Basically, she is falling in love with Luce over time, with intercuts of her falling in love with Henry being sweet and fluffy in 2014. And those parts are playing off of each other. Henry, of course, over the course of all of this, is writing down her stories. Because at this point, she's telling the past to Henry as though all the flashbacks are being treated as though she is actively telling her stories to Henry.
Okay.
This is the point, during part 5, I believe it is, Luce gives her a ring, and it is the ring that her dad carved, that whenever she wears it, it will summon him to wherever she is. They can hang out.
Okay. Imagine finding out that your girlfriend is in love with the demon lord, basically.
Yeah. I mean, she's still in denial of it.
Fair.
Yeah. But that's where part 5, part 5 pretty much ends with not a lot happening.
You know, I've heard that a lot of cozy books are described as basically just, you read it and it's just nothing, and that kind of reminds me of what this is.
Yeah, but cozy books, sometimes you're reading it and it's nothing because it makes you feel a certain way. I was definitely feeling frustration until the last 100 pages of this book. I would have dropped this book so fast if I didn't say last week that I'm reviewing this book. I would have dropped this book somewhere between the 25 and 30% mark. I was not having it.
You're like, I paid money for this shit.
Yeah.
That's how I felt reading Swordcross.
Yeah. That's how some of these book reviews end up. Part 6. Are you ready? You have any questions about part 5?
No.
Perfect.
Because nothing happened in part 5.
Yeah. Part 6 starts with the last time Addie ever visits her hometown in 1914. It's a very emotional scene where not a lot happens until the very end, where Luce tells her that the death of Archduke Ferdinand just happened and she needs to get out of Europe.
Fair.
He actually offers to teleport her to America right then and there to get her away from the war, and she's like, no, I'm fine. But then she leaves for America a week later anyways. Yeah.
Got it.
Because she comes to realize the war is actually as bad as he said it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you listen to the demon guy who knows what's happening?
Yeah, wouldn't you? Meanwhile, in 2014 New York, you know how I've been like, oh yeah, they're having their dates. Well, the dates mean that it's getting closer to the anniversary of Luce and Addie's deal. And that's the real tension, is that you can tell the anniversary is coming up through the dates happening.
Okay.
So Addie is not really sure if she wants to spend it alone or with Henry, because she doesn't know if... It's been 30 years since the last time she saw him, but she doesn't really know if he'll actually show up again or not.
Then why doesn't she just, summon him with the ring thingy?
Well, she doesn't want to see him.
Got it.
Yeah. So after some back and forth, she decides to spend her anniversary with Henry, and of course, Luce crashes it.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah. Not surprising. Which is when he reveals that Henry's deal was only for a year, so he's going to die in just over a month. That was the twist.
Okay.
The twist was actually properly laid out beforehand. Because Addie can tell that Henry lied to her when he said that his deal was for his life.
Got it.
Yeah. But she didn't question Henry, Mr. Ostrich Man, because she wanted to believe in Mr. Ostrich Man.
Dumbass.
Yeah. Anyways, after that reveal, we jump back to the past.
Who the fuck makes a deal that's like, yeah, after a year?
Honestly, she talks about that with him, and he's just kind of like, I was desperate, dude. Henry's like, I'm sure a lot of people are desperate. And then Luce at one point is like, everybody's desperate when they talk to me. They don't really think about the terms and conditions until after they agree. But, they agreed anyways, so it's still a valid deal.
Mood.
Mm-hmm. So, we're going to jump back to the past, as Addie is in a prison cell in occupied France during World War II. Yes, she went to America for World War I, but she went back to France in World War II. It's because she was being a spy. This isn't explicitly stated, but it is heavily inferenced that she was being a spy for France to fight against the Nazis in World War II and was caught.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so in the cell in France, she finally uses the ring for the first time to ask Luce for help. And of course, he teleports her back to America. Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of the safest place at the time, let's be real here.
Yeah. After a few more scenes that I'm skipping over...
Wait, does she have a French accent? Does she have an accent still?
So she had an accent, and over her time in America, her French accent has disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah. So people comment, like, you say you're from France, but you don't have an accent. And she just then starts speaking in French. They're like, ha, I guess you do. Your American accent is good. Anyway, the book makes sure that you know that people can't hear her accent, but she can still hear it when she talks at times. Like, the ending of certain words still comes out.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'm skipping past a few scenes of her influencing more artists to just get into the meat of the story. She and Luce start having sex. They start sleeping together. And Addie tries to convince herself that it's only sex.
And is this in 2014 or like?
This is in the 1960s, actually. We're skipping from
Okay.
I'm skipping the scenes between World War II and her in the 1960s developing a relationship with Luce that is very, very romantic, and she denies that it's a romantic. Back in New York
Got it.
again. Because again, it's non-linear, and I have to jump back and forth at the right now with part 6 to make it clear what the stakes are. In the previous parts, I could just go through more easily, like explaining what's going on in one side than the other side, and then say how it ends for both sides. This we actually have to jump back and forth. So, Addie is upset at Mr. Ostrich Man, but Luce offers her a chance to save his life if she goes on a date with him. Henry questions if Addie still thinks of Luce, and she dodges the question externally, but internally says yes. She agrees to the date. Back to the 1970s, in New Orleans, Luce confesses his love to Addie, who refuses to believe it. They have a small spat over what love is to them. The primary disagreement comes from whether or not Addie still counts as a human being.
Got it.
Yeah, because Luce is like, we are not humans. You are not humans. We are the only ones who can understand each other at this point. I love you, and you might not love me now, but we're the only ones who can understand each other. And he's like, I'm pretty sure you love me, but if you're not going to say that you love me, that's fine. But also, here's the keys to a house.
So that's the house that she owns but doesn't know.
Yeah, and he finally gives her someplace to live. 4 years later, we're going to jump 4 years, Addie asks Luce to release her from their deal. Luce, yeah. Luce states that he cannot undo the contracts. It is not within his power to undo them, but he can adjust them, which causes a fight, because Addie thinks that if he can adjust them, clearly he can just set her free, and he's like, no, I can't. And then she's like, no, you don't want to set me free because you're obsessed with me. And he's like, I can't set you free, and of course I'm obsessed with you. He's like, we are in love. Addie's like, no, we're not. You're obsessed. Your version of love is closer to possession. And once again, the comments about whether or not Addie is a human being come back into play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fight escalates until a fire breaks out and the home is destroyed. This is the last time she's...
How does a fire break out?
It doesn't... Okay. The book very much says nobody can remember if it was something thrown or if it was the candle falling over, but a fire eventually happens. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very quickly...
Mr. Demon Man can't just make it go away?
I think he could if he wanted to, but he doesn't, because earlier in the book, she has a memory of the house fire in New Orleans and remembers seeing his angry green eyes in the smoke as she runs away.
Okay, so basically, he's like, okay, guess we're broken up now.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't actually bother her until this. Like, this anniversary...
He's like, I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
This anniversary that she tries to spend with Henry is the first time he bothers her since the 70s.
Well, yeah, that's because he's like, I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
Reminder that he sees everything that happens in the dark. He knows everything. So he gets to see her this whole time, and she doesn't get to see him.
Can you say stalker?
I mean, does he have much of a choice?
Fair.
He is the embodiment of darkness.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Which, by the way, this is one of the ways I disagree with the bad reviews, because the bad reviews were like, he's a stalker, and I'm like, I don't think he has a choice. He openly states that he can see everything in the darkness, and he is the darkness. Like, I don't think he has a choice, guys. You guys can disagree with me, though. Disagree with me in the comments for all I care.
Wait, what form did he take for Henry? Like, he's like, I'm gonna take the form of a hot man for her.
He takes the exact same form with Henry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even with him caressing Henry's cheek and calling him perfect. Which I definitely read as romantic in the beginning of that scene, which it might not actually be romantic by the time it ended. But I choose to believe that all of these characters are bisexual because if Addie and Henry get to be bisexual as all get out and very openly bisexual in the book, why can't Luce?
I mean, I feel like Luce should be like a non-binary entity. He's basically darkness personified.
He probably is.
So the fact that we're having him be like a man, I feel like it would have been more interesting if he could take multiple forms in this book.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he could, but he chooses the form that Addie loves the most, probably because he loves her so much.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I kind of want this from his perspective.
I kind of want this from his perspective, too. In New York, so let's go back to New York where they're having the date. It only goes so well as Luce is very open that the only way to change Henry's contract is to find a soul to replace his when the contract is up. So he's just...
Valid.
He's like, Addie, he goes to Addie and is like, who would you trade life for Henry's? And Addie's like, oh, Henry wouldn't like that. I can't do that. So the date only goes so well. She's very antagonistic towards him, and he's very nonchalant, which I know that our BookTok girlies don't like nonchalant characters. I love nonchalant. Fuck off.
I mean, I feel like at this point, being nonchalant would be like a defense mechanism. Like, imagine you're in love with someone. They know you're in love with them. You feel like they probably love you from how they've been behaving with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start dating someone else after, like, ignoring you forever and basically screaming that they don't love you after how they've been treating you. Like, fair.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is also when Luce reveals that he made the deal with Henry specifically for her.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. He didn't make a mistake when he made Henry's deal. He literally found the perfect person. When he caressed Henry's cheek and said, "You're perfect," it's because Henry looks so much like him, and he already knows that she naturally is attracted towards people with features like his. Though she says it's unfair because he specifically chose the form that she would find most attractive in the first place. Which, she's right.
Fair.
She is right.
That is a little unfair.
Yeah. So, he specifically chose Henry and made the deal with Henry to give Addie someone to love so that she would get what she wants and then realize that, hey, loving a human is not for you because they will die and you will not. And she calls him heartless in this moment because she only gave him a year with him, which ended up being less than a year because it took so long for her to find him. And Luce then comments, no. I gave you a few months with him. It would have been more cruel if I made this last 10 years, 20 years. It would have hurt you more. And I'm not sure which one is actually worse, personally, but, like, this is his own twisted form of morality because he's not human.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they say don't make deals with the Fae.
Yeah. He makes sure to know that he is not a Fae.
And the other thing is, like, when we're talking paganism, okay, as someone who is a pagan, as someone who does not worship Jesus, and yes, I do say it like that on purpose, there's this misunderstanding that people who are not in paganism have. We may give the gods human forms when we make our altars and statues. They are not human.
Yeah.
They are entities beyond our comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, the goddess I worship is theoretically, you can't consider her Fae, technically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she is one of the she. But there's also a bit of a... They're still a goddess, you know? They're not like fairies that you think of when you think of as the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like... What's another good one to put it as? It's not like they're like a brownie or an Ekalavi. They are a goddess. They literally turned a human being into a river.
Yeah.
Like, just saying. And that's a misconception that a lot of people have, especially with modern media.
Mm-hmm.
They're not human. And because they're not human, they have their own sense of things, you know?
Yep.
What is considered cruel to us may not be for them. They have their own motives, they have their own thoughts and desires and things. And when it's the same thing with fake creatures. They do not think the way we do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's completely true. Like, this is Luce's genuine opinion of a genuine gift. He sees what he's done with Henry's contract as a genuine gift to Addie, to give her what she wants.
Yeah.
While also proving his point in some way, but he's giving her what she wants in the end, and he sees that as a genuine gift. And while the reviews are very clearly, like, saying that Luce is not, he doesn't actually love her, his idea of love is twisted, his idea of love is coming from an immortal being who is not the same as a human.
Yeah. I will say, it's hilarious that they are critiquing this, but they are not when it comes to things like Sarah J. Maas.
Right? It drives me nuts.
Because last I fucking checked, that was dealing with a fey creature who has their own form of morality, right and wrong, blah, 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 blah. They are not a human being. I don't give a shit that she turns into a fey creature later, okay? She was born human. She still is going to have her human thoughts and senses of morality and things like that, in my personal opinion. She's also a very young human being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The age gap there is huge.
Absolutely.
And Tamlin was a shit person. But you know what? Rhys was not better.
Nope.
He had his own twisted thing. Like, I don't care if it's he gives her agency when Tamlin doesn't. Bitch. No, he's like, I'm gonna say that you're this high court woman. You get to be in on the circle of dudes who make decisions because you're a high lady. And then he goes behind her back and does a bunch of shit. Like, I don't care. If my husband did that, I'm out the door. I'm driving to California and I'm crashing on Beryl's couch that they do not have. Like, I don't care. Okay, if my husband, like, the only thing my husband can go behind my back of is buying me a gift.
Yeah. Like, I think it's crazy because Luce is very clearly a critique of the Shadow Daddy. And, like, honestly, he's the most realistic Shadow Daddy here.
Yeah. Like, to me, a Shadow Daddy is someone who has the presence, but is still a little cinnamon roll. Like, to be fair, my standards were set high with Killian Jones in Once Upon a Time, because that's literally how he is.
Let's not call Luce a perfect cinnamon roll, but he's definitely better than a lot of the Shadow Daddies we see in media.
No, you know what? You know what the perfect example of a Shadow Daddy is? Gomez Addams.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. He's no Gomez Addams, but you know.
Yeah. That is the perfect rendition of a Shadow Daddy.
100%. You're on point. But yeah.
I'm guessing we're getting to part 7 soon.
Oh, yes, we are. Addie and Mr. Ostrich Man prepare for the end of Mr. Ostrich Man's life.
You know what you should have done? You should have just picked some random-ass serial killer psychopath and be like, yeah, take that motherfucker's soul.
Yeah, honestly. Could have chosen Trump's soul.
Like, why aren't you? Or like a really shitty politician, like Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein wasn't a politician, he was just a rich guy.
Same thing.
True, it is the same thing. They go to the rooftop where Mr. Ostrich Man first met Luce, and Addie reveals the final twist. Yeah.
There's another twist?
There's another twist. A few nights before D-Day happens, like, before the last day of Henry's contract, she puts on the ring and asks for her contract to be adjusted. When her contract adjustment is that when Henry's contract runs out, he will still remember Addie and he will live. And Addie will be with Luce until he sets her aside, finally admitting to Luce that she is no longer human and is not feeling the same things humans do.
Okay.
That's the end of part 6.
What does it mean by he sets her aside? Like when he gets bored with her?
She interprets it as when he gets bored with her, he'll eventually set her aside. But she uses the terms for whenever he wants to. For I think her specific words are he gets to have her until he no longer wants to be with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Then she gets to be with Henry?
She just it comes her thoughts on the matter more clearly comes in part 7, which we can just go into part 7 if you want to, because part 7 is the shortest part with 2 chapters. We get part 7 is just ending with Henry's chapter, wrapping up his story. Actually, I think it's 3 chapters, 2 chapters from Henry's point of view, and the last chapter is Addie's point of view, or we get to see that she said the words until he no longer wants to be with her, as believing that he will one day get bored of her because they are immortal beings, and that's when he'll set her free. And that's the end of the book. But we do get 2 Henry chapters in part 7 that we're not going over right yet.
Is set her free like her soul away, or is it...
She seems to think that he'll let her go back to what she was doing.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she'll have to be set free in another way later. But she also thinks that he can set her free. And he's like, I can't just set you free. You're in a contract with me.
Yeah, last I checked, if there's a contract.
Yeah, she doesn't really seem to understand the contract side of this. And I think that's the most human thing about her.
On top of that, and I say this with all the unpeace and love for people. When you're making deals with the Fae or any other entity, like, personally, I don't know if I believe in demons and angels, personally. Like, mind you, I was someone who was raised in a Christian household. My dad was Baptist. My mom was Protestant. Okay? I was raised on the idea that angels and demons exist. I don't actually know if I believe they do, personally. I believe the Fae exist. I believe in ghosts. I believe in the afterlife. Mind you, I don't know if I think of ghosts as your soul wanders around the earth, because I believe in reincarnation. I think of it more as an impression that was left behind.
Yeah.
But when you are making deals with entities beyond your mortal comprehension, you need to be specific.
Yes.
If you're not specific, you are fucked. Because they get to do what they want.
Yeah. When they were making the deal, she was very much of like, I don't know what I actually want. And he's like, well, then just tell me what you think you want. And she starts telling him all the things she doesn't want. And he actually literally, before they make the deal, laughs at her and is like, you're not going to get anything that you want if you continue to not actually be more specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at one point, he literally tells her, this isn't specific enough. I refuse to take this deal. And she makes it a slightly more specific. And he's actually like, okay, fine. That sounds like it could be fun. Like, he literally tries to goat her into making the deal more specific in the first place. And she doesn't go all the way.
Yeah. A big example is one of my favorite authors made a deal with, I think it was Breege.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might have been the Morrigan. They've made deals with both of them before. Because they work with 3 different deities. But one of them was, they were going to write a book for Breege, I believe. And they hadn't been working on it. So Breege was like, alright, I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck your shit up. They also told a story of someone where they promised the Morrigan they would go to Ireland within like a year or something. Well, due to circumstances, they weren't able to get there. So naturally, things started going badly for them until they bought their plane tickets to go there.
The gods don't care what your life is like. The gods want you to follow through on your promises.
Yeah, and that's why, like, for me, as someone who is AUHD, I struggle with schedules. I struggle with, unless I have it set out in a very rigid way, I struggle with remembering to do things until the last minute. So I buy, like, a day planner. I have a spell-a-day book. I constantly forget to do them. Why? Because by the time I'm done with work, I'm done with my office.
Yeah.
It's part of why I want to move where I work. I want to switch it from being my library and sacred space. Because I just want to be done with it. I want to be done. I don't want to be in the same room as my desk. And so I constantly forget about it. That is why when I'm at my altar and I'm like, I intend to, do this. I do not put deadlines. Mm-hmm. I say I intend to be more involved. I intend to do this more. but I ain't putting a deadline because I'm not stupid.
Yeah. Or you could just be like me and refuse to work with any god whatsoever.
Valid.
Yeah. I have my boundaries, and my boundaries are fuck off to the god.
Mind you, I work with her because, I am someone... This is going to sound so weird for the people who know me in my personal life.
Okay.
I am someone where I do have a strong personality. However, at the same time as having a very strong personality, I am very meek, which sounds weird.
No.
But I am one of those people where I do not want to let people down. I do not want people upset with me. If I make a mistake, I am my harshest critic, partially because I was raised that way. But I also come from a household with a lot of strong personality.
Yes. Yes, you do.
So and as someone who has been making this huge transition in their life from a Christian household to the pagan life, and also seeing all of these injustices happen in our world, working with a goddess who is about justice and war and, righting wrongs, but also is very much about courage and strength. It is one of those things where that is the one I work with the most personally. But, if I'm outside and I'm working with plants, I'll say things like in the name of Gaia or Pan, if you really want to get fancy, Chrononos, things like that. Or if it's like if it's Imulg, naturally, Briege is in there. It's her day. She's hanging out.
Yeah.
There's also, at Yule, it's very much the Holly King, the Oak King, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if you're working with something, it's got to be with the personality you're going for. But sometimes you're just going to get hit in the face.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's what's happening. That's what's happening in this book. This girl's just getting hit in the face.
Yeah. Notably, I did just tell you how the book ends, but we didn't finish what Henry's story is.
Yeah, what happens to Henry? Does he die?
He goes back to his life normally, and then after doing his whole normal life for one chapter, the next chapter shows that he's written a book. It's all of the tales that Addie has sent. He published it. It's named The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. We've already talked about how much we hate this trope. Did that just ruin his character for you? Because it ruined his character for me. Yeah, Henry was a self-insert the whole time. Yeah. For our audience to know, Thyme is just sitting there sighing over and over again, shaking her head. Just fed up with everything now.
Okay, I wanna. This is a bit of a spoiler for when we're recording the miniseries this week.
Yeah.
Mind you, I still need to read all 3 goddamn books. Okay, plus Enigma, but I have the whole week off. I got time.
Mm-hmm.
I got time on my hands. I'm a fast reader. Okay, I'm gonna a bit of a spoiler, a bit of a prelude to Fourth Wing. Okay, you know how that book starts out? Do you want to know? I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
You don't get a choice. You
Okay.
get to know. Okay. It starts out with, this is all written down by the perspective of someone that was there. This is the history.
I forgot about that. I forgot that people talk about the... Oh my god.
Yeah. Why isn't it first person perspective then, you dipshit?
Right? Why is it?
Okay.
Because BookTok loves first person.
I hate first person perspective. I'm going to say that. I hate it. I don't know why I hate it, but a lot of times I don't like it.
It's because third person is just so much better.
I agree, but I feel like part of it is Voice of the Ocean is one where I actually liked the first person perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did. That was just a perfect book for me, except for the fact that I didn't know I didn't know there was supposed to be more, and now I have no idea when the next book is coming out, and I want to know when the next book is coming out. Where's my next book, bro? Kelsey.
We did this bit before.
Tell me, damn it.
Kelsey and Pisha K, please.
I feel like part of it is I think in third person perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes, and maybe that's an autism trait, I don't know.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just become my own narrator in my brain. I don't know why. It is just a thing. It's like how I will count randomly when I'm walking. It's just a thing that I do. I don't know why I do it, but if you do that in the comments, let me know. Am I weird, or is this another thing? Maybe I gotta go ask the illustrator, because the person who did our logo and my book cover is also autistic, so I could also get their perspective.
I mean, I switch back and forth between first and third person.
Yeah. So first person is also so frustrating because first person is also what they do for unreliable narrators.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So when you're in first person, I feel like you can't necessarily trust the narrator, you know? Because they are the narrator.
I just assume if it's in first person, it's unreliable by impact.
I feel like the only time first person works the best is mystery novels.
I'm going to say it. Cruel Prince is first person, and it works really well.
Yeah.
Because the unreliable narrator part of The Cruel Prince is the political intrigue, and again, it works really well.
Yeah. I feel like that is something that was missing from Court of Thorns and Roses, is it is first person. But the problem is, she's an unreliable narrator as hell.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time you get to the last ones, which again, I have not read the last ones, I just know what I've heard. Other than the fact that it's super horny, is the fact that you are now in the sister's perspective, and you see all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And Nessa's gonna let you know when there's bullshit.
Yeah.
Nessa does not hold back.
So I will also point out that there's another way that I like first person. It's what I do in my own books, and it's also what Holly Black does in the Cruel Prince series, which we don't see in the initial 3 books of the Cruel Prince, but we do see in other books written about fairies by Holly Black. Because the Cruel Prince is Holly Black's only first person, I think. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's the use of first person for humans when there are fae around, because then you use third person for fae.
Oh, that's interesting.
I do that in my own books.
Mine's just in third person wholly, and part of that is okay. I'm gonna step back a few. So I have mine in third person because, and this will probably annoy some people, I switch perspectives a little bit for key moments.
Yeah.
And that is because I only do it for key characters. So I do it for Killian. Yes, the main love interest is named Killian. Okay, I love the name Killian. Sue me. Okay, sue me, Disney. I fucking dare you. Sue me.
Please do not dare the mouse to sue us.
He doesn't have, mind you, no one has the last name. They also gotta find me. Okay,
True.
You think Disney is going to be listening to our podcast
No.
going, oh yeah, this dumbass challenged me to sue them. You're going to sue me over the name Killian? Do you know how many books use the name Killian? It's his common C name, okay?
True.
I also just like it spelled better with a K. I'm sorry, Killian Murphy. I think that's his full name.
Wait, it's spelled with a C?
I just like it spelled better with a... Yeah.
No, it's spelled with a K.
It's Irish. His name, Killian, the actor, is spelled with a C because he's Irish.
Okay.
And there are no K's in Gaelic.
Okay, I give free reign for the Irish, but everyone else...
I like the K. But also, to me, Killian is just such a nice, strong name, especially if you're going for, like, a sailor, you know? So I do it for Thyme. I do it for Killian. I will do it for her siblings, but only 2. I do it for Sagar, I do it for Marius. And that is because I haven't done any for Sagar yet. And that is because I do it for key moments after Killian dies.
Okay.
Because Thyme is unreliable in her state.
Yeah.
And I do it for Marius because Marius gives key moments about her. I don't do it as they have information that she doesn't have. I do it as this is how other people are seeing her and how she's actually doing. Because after Killian dies, for example, she ends up with a group of... This is why she becomes a bard. She ends up with another person that she knew that was on the ship. He's a traveling bard. He's like, yeah, you can come perform with me. I promised you I would teach you the ways of the bard. And essentially, she becomes addicted to the magic that he produces when he plays. Okay. So she plays to the point where her fingers bleed because when she's playing, she no longer is depressed and grieving. So you see the perspective of her brother having to deal with this and having to essentially be like, we gotta go. You can't stay with this group anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta do this. And with Marius, you have the position of, this is the older brother who essentially becomes her father figure. Because her father's shit.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you then have the, I switched to Killian's perspective, so you get key moments with him.
Yeah.
The only other person who gets a perspective is her fiance, and that is Calum.
Yeah.
And I love Calum.
We all
he
love
is
Calum.
the best.
He's the best character. We're not going to give too many spoilers on your book, though.
No.
No.
The fact that people are like, wait, there's a fiance?
The fiance doesn't matter. Well, he does, but
I love him.
Best
I
friends.
love him. I also set him up so perfect. The entire point is he would be the perfect match for her.
But he's not into her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Read into that as much as you will, people. But back to Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Yeah, so I feel like...
There's this person on BookTok who says, was that story really good, or was it just the last 100 pages? And this is definitely only gets good in the last 100 pages, if that. Like, I was so frustrated for the first half.
Yeah, I feel like this should have been either about just one of them,
Mm-hmm.
or it should have been about the god essentially having to deal with realizing he's in love with someone and having to go through that roller coaster.
Yeah. And to be fair, it is just about Addie. But everything we're given about Henry is to make him either make sense or make him connect with Addie. He's literally just there to be what Addie wants him.
Yeah. Like, you probably could have cut him out and made a better story.
I don't think you could cut him out. I think you can make him better. Or separate their stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure how to fix this.
Honestly, I think it would have been better if it just ended tragically.
See, a lot of people online, the reviews, both the good and the bad, call it a tragedy.
It's not a tragedy.
No, she ends up with the exact person she deserves.
Like, I don't consider this a tragedy.
I don't either.
How is this a tragedy?
She's very clearly in love with Luce the entire time, and Henry is just her current fascination. That's why she finally admits that she's no longer human to Luce. I don't think that that's her necessarily manipulating him. I think she thinks she's manipulating him. I think she's just saying the part that she's denying out loud.
So, this is gonna sound really weird, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There is this thing that I've experienced in the aspect of, if there's someone in your life who is in your life semi-irregularly, and you have moments where you're spending time with them or you're talking with them regularly, and it's someone that can potentially, in a way, seem like they're everything that you're wanting, basically. You are going to have times where you become, I guess, mildly obsessed. Like, you're thinking about them all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because to you, this is like a perfect person. Now, there's a high likelihood they're not. And I'm saying that outright. Like, and I'm not talking about my husband. I love my husband. My husband is my sweet little cinnamon roll teddy bear.
Mm-hmm.
He is just the most adorable golden retriever ever. And he does not have golden hair.
Yeah.
But these people will come into your life, and generally they come into your life for a lesson. And sometimes that lesson is the worst thing on the planet that you can think of at the moment. But then after they're gone from your life, you realize how much better off you are without them. And I feel like that's how Henry is supposed to be, Mr. Ostrich Man, because he might seem like everything you ever want, but how often do you think about something like, oh, I really want this, and then you finally get it, and it's just another item.
Yeah. I don't think she treated him with any form of real respect in this. She was clearly using him from the get-go.
Yeah. Like, I don't consider this a tragedy because nothing happens.
Yeah. Everything goes, like, I don't see her romance with Luce as a tragedy. I don't see, like, if she ended up with Henry, I'd actually be pretty upset because of how she treated Henry throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
Everything kind of just wraps up exactly where it is with one extra piece, and that is the fact that she is with Luce now permanently until he doesn't want to be with her anymore, and she thinks that means bored, but let's be honest, they're not gonna get bored. They're watching history constantly moving forward.
Yeah. And I've had times where people tell me they need breaks from their partner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they need to go do their own thing, and then their partner will come and be like, okay, yeah, it's time to actually spend time with me, type thing. And for me, that is not something that ever happens. Yeah, I go to my own thing. I go to my dance. I do this. But I like just spending time with my husband. Like, I love going for walks with him. I love when he comes home. I love just sitting on the couch with him, even if we're not doing the same thing. To me, I will probably never get bored of my husband. Let's be real here.
Fair.
Like, and part of that might also be I love the complacency. Like, I love the fact of I have my routine. I don't have anything changing. That's perfectly fine. Like, so I feel like that's how he would be. Like, why would he get bored?
Yeah. I don't think he would be bored either.
You just, you finally have someone to just hang out with.
The book makes it pretty clear that she has a very large misunderstanding of what their relationship and how she should feel about things are, because she's such a stubborn person who's kind of just stuck in her ways. Like,
yeah.
She's only just on the path of figuring out that, like, what she's been doing has been destructive to people around her, and she's a very selfish person in some regards. She's also not a selfish person in other regards. Like, her entire reasoning to make the deal in the first place was to avoid marriage that she did not want, and that's not a selfish thing. But
no,
she becomes more selfish as time goes on, and that's exactly what Luce is like. Like,
yeah.
Guys, this is not a tragedy. I consider this a mixed feelings ending. And I only consider it mixed feelings because I have mixed feelings about the book. I probably consider this a happy ending if I liked the book more.
I would say this is a big old nothing.
Yeah, I put this down as a 2.7.
That's fair.
Yeah, the writing is gorgeous, and there's a lot of good setup happening. A lot of the twists that I mentioned didn't come out of nowhere. So I think it's well written. I just don't like it. There's a whole lot of nothing happening.
Yeah, if you have a book where the beginning and the end are the exact same position, you've done something wrong.
Yeah, if you started this linear, it wouldn't be a whole lot of nothing. If this was linear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The entire point of a story is they learn something. Like, something changes.
Yeah. And she's still stuck in her ways.
Yeah.
She's stuck in her ways now. The only thing that's different is that she's now forced to be around Luce more.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. She's forced to be around the guy that she actually does love, because, let's be honest, she was thinking about Luce way too much on her dates with Henry. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, if you're... Like, there's a saying that if you fall in love with two people, stay with the second one because you love them more.
That's a bullshit saying.
Yeah.
I've literally had a homewrecker tell me that as their reasoning for why they were okay wrecking homes.
No. No. Like, if you're on a date with someone and you're thinking about someone else, why you want to date with that person?
Yeah, yeah. And granted, it's very light and very subtle that she's thinking about Luce on her dates with Henry, but it's there. It's there.
Now, mind you, like, my husband and I occasionally go on dates. It's more so, like, we went to the city that's an hour and a half from where we live, and, we're going out to dinner because we're spending the day in that city. We don't really... But, like, when I'm hanging out with my husband, the only time I'm thinking about other people is either A, I'm thinking about responsibilities I have to do, B, I'm thinking about work, C, I'm thinking about my family and some stupid shit they did, or wait, am I on D?
You're on D.
E or C?
You're on D, but A and B are the same.
Yeah. D, I'm thinking about some asshole who I'm still upset about, and thinking about why they're an asshole and what I could have said to them differently to win that argument. Like, that's what I'm thinking about.
Or option E, I'm assuming, is that you see something you want to give to somebody.
Yes, that also happens.
You're not taking your date to an underground bar and thinking that this is a place that the other guy would like.
Yeah. Like, no. The amount of times I see something and I'm like, ooh! Or I see something and think it's hilarious, like the fact that at Walmart, you know what they sell in the hot chocolate Christmas aisle now? Okay?
Oh no.
You know what they sell? They sell hot chocolate bombs in the shape of a man.
Oh, I saw those. I saw those.
You just want a nice hot man. Also, can you think about how slightly racist it is that it's a chocolate man?
Huh.
Yeah. that then gets murder melted by your hot milk.
Wait, is the chocolate man the one that's in a Speedo and a Christmas hat? Or did we see the same one?
We might have, but there's one where it's a hot chocolate bomb.
Okay. I'm thinking of a hot chocolate bomb that's in the shape of a man with a Speedo.
Yeah, I think it's the same one.
Okay.
I think it's the same one.
Okay.
But it's like the fact that that used to be a thing where you used to call people like chocolate man because they had darker skin.
I completely forgot about that, dude.
Yeah. I think about these things. Mind you, I recently found out that Jingle Bells is actually technically born on racism.
How am I not surprised?
Honestly, yeah. I'm not gonna. If you want to find out about why that is, just Google Jingle Bells racism, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Real fast. There's an Oxford article about it.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this book is just a big old nothing.
Yeah. The only thing that changes is that she's with the guy that she genuinely does love at the end. Fuck off anybody who says that she doesn't love him. Does he love her? Yes, in his non-human way.
Yeah, like, you can't expect someone who's not human to go and act like a human being.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so annoyed at the good and the bad reviews, because the good reviews are like, oh, this is just such a beautiful story. And it is a beautiful story because it's beautifully written. It is not a beautiful story because anything actually happens. It's not a story. Yeah. But the bad reviews are like, oh, they're so toxic, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, she gets exactly what the guy should say.
These are the same people who are reading, like, Haunting Adeline.
Are they?
Fuck off.
Are they?
I'm betting so. I'm betting so.
All of the sex is either off screen or, like, really quickly glossed over. Like...
Okay, fair.
Like, I don't think people who are reading sex books are reading this.
Okay, valid. This is a fair point. But this is also BookTok.
True. BookTok did kind of influence me on this.
I think my one other thing I can say is, okay, this is coming from someone who is autistic. And it's not going to be the same for every autistic person. By the way, I did mention to my friend who did the logo for us, who's also autistic, about how we were talking about that plant book guy whose autistic representation is a plant. They actually thought that was a great way to do it.
Let's go. Okay.
So, I'm not the only one who saw it. As someone who is autistic, I have that bit of having a love that is weird because I do not love the same way other people do. I have accepted that for a while. Mm-hmm. And part of that is I show love very differently. I'm really good at, like, I will give people things, and one of the hardest things I have is my husband does not want anything. So I have a hard time giving him things.
That's valid.
But also, I have my moments where, like, we'll be cuddling, and I'll be like, I should feel something. Why am I not feeling something? Or a really good example is when we were dating, I did not know that that's what it was. Like, I did not know I was in love until we got into a really big argument. And I realized there's the possibility of losing him. And that can sound really shitty. Like, oh, you just want to keep them around type.
No.
But it was very different from my ex-boyfriend where, yes, he was my best friend. And there was many instances of he would go off and date other people at the same time of saying that he was in love with me.
Yeah.
So it was I did not want to lose my best friend, but I also, like, looking back, I did not love him when I dated him. Did I love him as a friend? Yeah. Like, and I miss our friendship every now and then, but he also was not the best person for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of the opposite of an experience I had where I broke up with somebody because we were having a huge fight. And I realized that I didn't care if I lost this person or not. I'm like, that's not a good thing to feel in a relationship. I'm going to break up with this person now. Which, like, made her beg me back, and I kind of feel bad about that. But, like, it was best to break it off then.
One of the biggest things is I cannot imagine life without Dalton. Mm-hmm. I could imagine life without other people.
That's fair.
And that is the biggest thing. Like, my biggest fear is, so his dad has sleep apnea. I actually have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
They did studies. He does not have enough to have it count as sleep apnea. He has a vitamin D deficiency, though. So one of my biggest fears is waking up and him not being there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That is not something I have ever had with anyone else.
That's fair.
Did I cry when my friend of like 12 years and I no longer were friends? Yes. But mind you, it was also a point of relief at that point.
Yeah.
It was really hard, but the biggest reason why it was so hard is I did not understand why. I did not understand what happened to change the way they were treating me. I did not understand what happened and what I missed.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, I feel like that is something that would eventually happen between this character and Henry, is they would get to the point of, yeah, I'm bored with this person now. Like, they're not what I want anymore. And would Henry then forget them? That is a big question.
I think the bigger thing is that because she's lived so long now, Henry would be able to keep her entertained for his life, but she would eventually move past it pretty easily. Eventually, she seemed pretty past it at the end.
When you've lived for 300 plus years,
yeah.
I feel like you're used to just everyone dying around you.
Yeah,
that's why, like, vampires, eventually they get used to it.
They're not human anymore. You live longer than a human lifespan, you're not going to be human anymore.
No, exactly. I feel like that would have been a more interesting premise, is having the grounding moment of that realization.
Honestly, if we got to see her slowly lose her humanity over time in a more effective manner, and then have her come to that big realization instead of it happening off page, it happened off page. Come on. Like, and I don't even think she really had it. I think she just finally can admit it while being stubborn and internally thinking, I don't actually believe it, while finally admitting it. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to see her have that realization she's not human anymore. She stopped being human a long time ago.
Especially since it's first person.
Yeah, it's not first person. This is third person.
I thought it was first person.
No, it's third person. I don't know why we were talking about first person earlier, but it's third person.
I swear you said it was first person.
I might have accidentally said, like, earlier in the recording, there's a good chance that I said first person omniscient, semi-omniscient, but it's third person.
Okay. That's the other thing. If it was first person, you could then have the mindset of her realizing it.
Yeah, but it's third person, and she has the realization, if at all, off page, and I really just want her to have the realization in full instead of just half realizing it.
And so often we have the books in movies where the entire point is, oh, the monster does not have the humanity, therefore it is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
But the main characters are the humans. It would have been so interesting to have it be the main character started off human, losed their humanity, and then realized they were the monster.
Yeah, honestly, there's books that do it, and they do it really well. Also, a reminder that towards the end of the book, in one of the flashbacks, when she's in the chapter where they start fighting and the house catches on fire, she actually starts that chapter thinking this is probably love, and then pushes it out of her brain.
So this is love. Do 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 do.
Fuck off, love. Anyways, I don't know. I feel like the more we talk about it, the more frustrated we get.
Yeah. You know what? We should rewrite this. Fan fiction coming in hot.
I don't know how to fix this.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's part of the problem. Like, normally when I read a book and I'm not completely happy with it, I know how to fix it. I don't know where to start on how I would change this.
Yeah, it's hard. It's so hard.
I kind of like the ending. I just wish she came to the full realization, but also since she's living for so long, it makes sense that she hasn't come to the full realization at this point.
Valid.
Yeah.
That is valid.
Yeah. She's permanently stuck in the mind of a 23-year-old who's living through history.
I never got to say my full thought of what I was going to say earlier about bringing up my book.
Shit. Okay.
I just realized that we went down a whole rabbit hole, and then we just went off the rabbit hole onto a different rabbit hole. The entire point of bringing up my book was the fact of, we were talking about how the guy said, oh, it would have been more tragic to have you live his whole life and then lose him.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you didn't know about that. And the entire point of my book is the fact that she does not get to live his whole lifespan. Mm-hmm. She will outlive him no matter what, because she is a fey creature. He is a human being.
Yeah.
But they didn't get that. They never got to live and experience what life would have been like with him.
Fair.
And that was the tragedy of it. And I feel like that's the tragedy of this, is the only bit of tragedy would have been if he did die and she had to deal with the grief afterwards.
That's fair.
Because that's the thing. You're thinking about all the possibilities that could have happened.
Fair. Though, at the same time, she does live forever.
Yes, exactly.
And your main character still has a lifespan.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the fact of, at least then they would have gotten the rest of the life.
True.
Mind you, they're technically, I guess this is a bit of a spoiler, but God forbid anyone reads. I've actually published my writing.
Yeah.
We're rewriting the D&D campaign into book 2, is what will happen. Like, book 1 ends at the start of the D&D campaign, where they're going to write the D&D campaign to how we wanted it to be more of.
Mm-hmm.
And it will essentially become the sequel. There's characters we're going to leave out, things we're going to change, all that fun jazz. And part of that is he comes back. He's brought back to life. He is tortured for a year, so then he thinks she's a hallucination.
Oh.
And she has to tell him, no, this is real. You were brought back. You were dead for 10 years. He then has to adjust to it being 10 years later, including seeing his younger brother, an adult, who looks like him,
Ooh.
which freaks her out, because she's like, what the fuck? There's also a shape changer involved with that, a doppelganger. It's a lot of fun. But the big thing is, there technically is a way for him to live as long as she does.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The question is, does he make the deal on his own, or is she involved?
Yeah, I guess you'll find out. Stick around for when Thyme finally publishes her book.
That's the other thing. What the hell do I call book 2?
We need to have a compilation of every time we talk about our books.
We do.
Yeah.
We really do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that's the big thing, is it would have been more of a tragedy, and I think it actually probably would have been a better ending if it had been he ends up dying.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that would have been better, because then there's the what ifs, then there's she actually has a reason to be mad at him.
Yeah.
And then he actually would have been more of a villain.
Yeah, he would have actually been a villain instead of just a guy. I'm sorry.
Just a dude.
A shadow daddy. Any other
Oh my God.
thoughts?
No.
Okay. Let's wrap this up so I don't have to look at this book anymore.
Comment what they should do with this book. Join us in the next episode, where I will be reviewing Enigma by Runix, and we will see how well that goes. Also, like, subscribe, comment, all of that shit.
Please. Please. Please.